What's up, guys? This is Pew Pew. Today we have a special guest on the channel. Introduce yourself.
Hey, my name is YUNOSANN on Twitch. I started playing the game in launch, and obviously I've taken some breaks. But as of when I came back, I got officially known, like through the Albion community at least, for playing quarterstaff with my duos Beast 1K and Stratagem.
Yuno is known for being one of the best quarterstaff players in 2v2 Hellgates, and today we're gonna have him teach us how to play his weapon, the quarterstaff. So first, we're gonna address some new player questions. Now, these questions are based off of the kind of question people generally ask me when I try to introduce a new build to them, if they're new players. So I'm gonna throw these questions at Yuno and have Yuno answer it for us. And after we're done addressing these questions, we'll watch some clips together. And while we're watching these clips, Yuno will commentate for us and tell us how he won in those situations with a quarterstaff build. All right, so give us a general idea of how your build works.
So essentially, the build that we play is pretty much it's a one-shot comp, right? So there's three ideal weapons that you're gonna play with the build. So there's obviously your quarterstaff. That's like it's quarterstaff or tomb hammer, but tomb hammer specifically works with blazing only pretty much. But for quarterstaff at least, which is what I play, you play quarterstaff and then you play with either badon, perma, or blazing. And then there's also light crossbow, but light crossbow is a very like weak offhand because if you like cleric the combo, it's pretty much a useless weapon. So in my opinion, blazing is the best out of the three. Second best is permafrost, and then there's badon. The reason I say it is because badon lacks damage compared to the other two, and the only way to make badon work good would be if you are able to push the healer probably into the badon because it would just stall out longer for you to deal damage because you need to work around your ray of lights for damage. But the way our build works pretty much is we see somebody and we just quick engage on them. I do my full combo, just quick engage on them, and we try to get a kill off of it. And then that's pretty much how it works. If it doesn't, then we have to reset and play based off of like their mistakes and how their playstyle is.
What is your full combo?
So the full combo when you play quarterstaff is always going to be you use your demon helmet preemptively, and then you use your boots and your W. The reason you use your boots and your W is because your boots increase your next ability by 35% in CC, like the duration. So you pretty much you'll get a big stun off when you hit somebody, and then you're gonna E them. Hopefully their healer's nearby, right, and they'll knock them away. But if it isn't, you would Q the DPS towards your DPS whilst queuing towards the healer and then wind walling him away. That's the ideal combo for quarterstaff. The combo would be like this. Happy, is the gate up already, bud?
Yeah, it's
Okay, just watch it if you're nearby. I'll be there in a second. Showing some in the stream. So pretty much what you would do is to say I'm off screen, right? I would do this. The combo would be
yeah,
this. I would come in, I would hit him, and then I would press E, knocking away anybody that's nearby, and I would most likely roll towards them, or roll him closer to my DPS, right? Like I did right there. Like the best way to do your roll is, if it stands still, I see. If With I pretty much obviously the went through inclusion him, of if you were throwing your stuck in it, poison, which I
and
didn't
when
do
like
there.
that pushes him as I get closer to the healer, and then I would wind wall the healer. Alright. Let me.
Okay. All right. How much spec do you have on your build, on your quarterstaff build?
I have 1600 spec on my quarterstaff build at the moment, so I'm maxed out.
How did you spec up your quarterstaff?
When I came back to the game, because like as I've said, I've quit a couple times. When I came back to the game, I saw Beast 1K and Stratagem playing quarterstaff and Frost, and I thought, oh, I'd like to do it. They're making a lot of money, so I started playing through Frost, and I played through Frost because I had premium for a while, so I spec'd up Frost pretty much to 100, just using like learning points and a bunch of tomes that I had. And at that point, off of getting credits from that, I spec'd up my quarterstaff when I started playing with Beast.
Okay.
So fame credits pretty much.
So yeah, fame credits. Now, would you recommend a new player using fame credits just like you did, or can you go grind the quarterstaff somehow in a dungeon?
I would say get up another build if you can, like even if it's like some build for solo dungeons and fame credits. Quarterstaff is a build that is very it doesn't work well when you go do group dungeons because of the fact that it literally CCs one thing and it does nothing else compared to an incubus mace where you can compress everything together and then like lower their health and stuff. So I would definitely say go for fame credits.
Great. And how important is having specs to you? Like, is quarterstaff one of those weapons that you can play with low specs or low IP?
I feel like in general in this game, there's like specific weapons, right? Like Badon, where you need high spec because if you're lacking spec, you lack a lot of damage because it's a very low damage weapon. But quarterstaff is like you could get away with it, and you could before you could get more away with it just due to the fact that it had longer CC because like it got a nerf now.
Mm-hmm.
But quarterstaff, you can still get away with it with low spec. You just make sure you go for sturgeon fish because it's very cheap and it increases your CC duration by 10%. But then again, the more spec you have, the longer your CC is on quarterstaff. So spec is very important for quarterstaff too, especially against the tryhard comps.
Okay. Um, Now we kind of went over this earlier, what combos well with quarterstaff, but I've
Mm-hmm.
also seen a lot of variants, right? I've seen people run
Mm-hmm.
quarterstaff in a pike or quarterstaff in a one-hand dagger.
Mm-hmm.
What all have you seen run together with a quarterstaff that kind of works, and why do you not like them? Because you don't run them, right?
Okay, so you have quarterstaff and one shot pike. All right.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with quarterstaff and one shot pike is that one shot pike is it says it in the name right. It's a one shot pike. So you have one hit, you hit, and that's it. But you see a quarterstaff running in on you, and you see nobody else coming. You assume there's a one shot pike, right? There's no way a quarterstaff is going to solo engage on both of you. And even if you don't assume it, let's say the one shot pike comes in and one of you CC, he goes to hit, cleric out, and that's it. The one shot pike is useless. It's the same thing with light crossbow. It's a one hit pretty much, and that's it. You can't do anything else compared to something like blazing or perma that has very consistent and high damage throughout the fight. So that's why I personally don't like one shot pike. And then as for dagger, I feel the same way. For dagger, pretty much if you're able to kite away the dagger E, the weapon's useless. It has no consistent damage after dagger E.
Okay. All right. What are some common mistakes that you see people making while using this build?
The rotation for spells is definitely a big thing. Like I see a lot of people using their W before their boots, which reduces how long you're stunning with your W initially, which is really good and important. Um, I see a lot of people not noticing what target they should be focusing. Like sometimes I see people going for healers, which is the worst thing you can do. You always go for DPS, and if the DPS cleric calls, you can swap damage onto the healer to kind of like pressure him away. But I'd probably say like the biggest thing is like just the spell rotation. I feel like people don't do the spell rotation well. They don't make sure that they're using their Q to cancel certain spells. Yeah, it's probably that. It's probably spell rotation.
Okay. How do you play against this build? Like, what do you usually have trouble fighting against with this build?
Uh, one ha- Double one-handed mace, war bows, and healer comps. Healer comps are always going to be the hardest, but that and one-handed mace is really strong against quarterstaff right now.
Mm-hmm.
So for the quarterstaff build itself, there's at the moment that I found right from playing it, double one-handed mace is a huge counter to the build. But in general, double merc hood is the biggest counter there is to double quarterstaff because you literally just walk out of it with merc hood and then you pretty much just engage on them.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I say double merc hood is the best because clerical still works for quarterstaff, but if you're against a clerical is really bad for quarterstaff if you're against a blazing because of the fact that blazing will fire artillery one of you, and when you come out, the fire artillery stack through the ice block. So when you come out, your healer's trying to heal you at 4 stacks of fire artillery. So you're pretty much insta dying due to fire artillery. So pretty much what you want to do is double merc hood the whole way. You have double merc hood for quarterstaff, but like I said, you can get away with cleric cow. Just be careful; it's not a blazing. As of, I think it was also you want to know what swaps to use as quarterstaff.
Uh, I wanted to know. Yeah, well, yeah. Let's go with that first. Like, what
Um,
swaps should I bring to face to face like a quarterstaff based comp?
Yeah, so if you are facing a quarterstaff, I would say have your merc hood, and then okay, so the best way, let's say you're a healer comp, for example,
Mm-hmm.
the best way to be quarterstaff would be you let them engage on you, and then you double Wonderlust after them with Robe of Purity, because you can run through their wind wall so they can't reset. And one-handed curse with Robe of Purity and Wonderlust plus Merc Hood is the best counter in the game to quarterstaff. That and Claymore, because Claymore can eat through the wind walls.
Okay. You said double. I think you said earlier double one-handed mace, and
Yeah,
did you say
double
war
one-handed
bows?
mace. Yeah. The reason for that is because they can both kite quarterstaff very well at a distance,
Mm-hmm.
and if you do manage to catch them, they'll literally just Merc Hood, pop their cleric robe, run away again. So you just have frost shot. It's too much escape for the quarterstaff to actively stay on top of them.
Okay. And what makes the one hand mace hard to fight?
So the thing with the one-handed mace is that the one-handed mace E is considered a knife frame, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it can pretty much go through stuff. So when the quarterstaff tries to peel by using his wind wall, you E right through the wind wall. When the DPS, let's say it's a Badon or it's a Blazing, they use Scholar Sandals. When they go to Scholar Sandals, your W cancels Scholar Sandals. And you have Merkhood, so you're never going to get held down. So you pretty much just keep on jumping on them, being a very high HP target since you use Taproot and you have your Guardian Helmet to heal you. Well, if you had Guardian Helmet, you'd have your Guardian Helmet to heal you, but you have your Demon Boots. So the lower they get you, the harder you run them down. So it's very hard to deal with that as a quarterstaff comp.
Okay, that's good. Now that's all the basic questions that I could come up with. So next we're gonna watch some clips together, and will commentate and help us understand what we're looking at in these clips.
So if, right here at this point, I was playing with my duo beast, and I saw their names. I knew what they were playing because these are friends of ours. So as that happened, the quarterstaff ran in, and instead of focusing me initially, he tried to focus Beast. And when he stunned me, I knew that his DPS was going to throw the Badon at me, which was like pretty much all their damage. So I rolled preemptively just to make sure he couldn't get me with that. But at this point, like the quarterstaff was so deep in that he died. But when you play quarterstaff v quarterstaff, you should always focus the other quarterstaff. And since I didn't have a Fort Sterling cape, it was literally a free win for them. We were doing a 0 to hero here, so I had a regular demon cape I got off of killing somebody. All he had to do pretty much was engage on me, and then they full comboed me. I got 100 to 0. But instead, he decided to chase for my DPS that has defensives, and into trying to get my DPS that has defensives. Yeah, never focus the DPS because the DPS has more defensives than the quarterstaff, and without the quarterstaff, there's no CC to hold your DPS down. So you always kill the quarterstaff, and you pretty much win after that. In this clip right here, we were playing versus Trapstone, which is once we saw his name, we knew what he was playing pretty much. He's a healer comp player. So I run in here and I CC him instead of Pieces Blazing, right? I isolated healer a bit. He's getting really low at this point, and he goes in on Beast. So he's going pretty far from his healer too. Beast is dealing more damage to him. So at this point, the healer was already silenced, and he went into Clerical. So since he went into Cleric here, Beast starts launching his W. When you're inside of Cleric, W stacks will still stack on you. So as you see right there, he's on 3 stacks. He's trying to run at this point, but they're both so low that they don't have time to reset. Now the healer goes into Cleric as well, meaning Beast can just play far back, and he can use his W like this. And I can just keep holding the guy and canceling his heals while he's in the fire, and he pretty much dies for free. And then after this, I just run down the DPS and kill him. So in this clip, pretty much we were being chased. We were trying to get in a better spot, right? You always want self screen on somebody, not them having self screen on you, especially since Blazing can get pretty much cucked by like one Hunter Hood. So I run in here and I engage on them, right? And I know the mobs are dying. So since I knew the mobs were dying, I pushed the healer into the mob, forcing the healer down to like 1 HP. So he had to heal himself or heal his DPS. And it was too much healing for him to do since obviously Flash heals like a single target heal. And we pretty much won off of that alone. Since Beast had dealt so much damage to their DPS, and then I dealt so much damage to the healer with the mob explosion. Never run through mobs, by the way, especially versus a one-shot comp, because you will be CC'd in mobs and die. Yeah, in this clip right here, when we started off, pretty much, I look at their healer, and Beast looked at their healer, and he realized that they have Merc Hood. So I go in, I fake and engage on the healer, right? And then I go straight for the DPS, because there's no reason for me to focus the healer. Now, I realized that we had previously engaged with them, and the healer, he kept on life touching the DPS, so I knew he was going to have life touch for himself. So once he life touched the DPS to get him out of the blazing, I silenced the healer instantly because he wouldn't be able to heal his DPS.
So the lesson to take home from this one really is to watch your opponent for certain patterns in the way they play. Like you're saying, the life touch always had his life touch E for cleansing the CC on his DPS, right? So you silenced the life touch after he used his E, and he couldn't heal, and that's why you got this one. So watch for patterns in the way your opponent plays, and if you can recognize these patterns, even if they have a build that hard counters yours, maybe use these patterns to outsmart them.
So right here in this one, when we were fighting, pretty much, I already had dealt quite a bit. We already had dealt quite a bit of damage to both of them, and I knew my DPS was gonna have big damage here. Like his chest piece, I'm pretty sure was up. So I go in and I go for a silence on the healer. But this right here wasn't more so just us. It was the healer playing bad. So if you see right there, the healer uses life touch on his DPS to heal him instead of life touching himself to cleanse off the silence. If he had cleansed the silence, then he would have been able to do more. But since I was in really high tier, my silence at the moment was about a 9 second because I was running 8.3 gear. All right, pretty much in this clip, we were already like we were chunking them down or whatever. I messed up my win wall because I always count down like for like the robo purity timer and stuff, but I didn't count it properly. But I knew Beast. He told me like my Badon's about to be up. So as he told me his Badon was about to be up, I knew like, oh, I'll either DPS to hold him down, heal Badon, and then I can try to queue the healer into the rope of I can try to queue the healer into the Badon, since that's usually what I go for with Windwall, but I didn't have Windwall because I misused it earlier. But that's a unique thing you can do when you play with a Badon. You want to try to aim to maybe get the healer into the Badon because it will cancel out their healing. As you see there, when he walked into it, he couldn't heal at all. It's very important to do kind of things like that. But that only works with Badon since it cancels casting. So we see this clip right here, right? And then I got they got my Fort Sterling with silence, but the problem was that Badon hard counters permafrost, and their permafrost double blinked into us. So he was in the middle of our team, which guaranteed he had no way to dodge the Badon. They guaranteed a free Badon them, and that means he can't cast. So by him blinking in there and getting red in our face, it pretty much just guaranteed that he's not going to be able to outdo. He's not going to be able to put out any damage, and we just win the fight for free.
Rewind it. All right, go ahead.
Okay, so this clip right here is it was me pretty much showing an example to people that dual swords are really bad. So this is a common thing that swords would do. They stack on the chest in the middle to engage on you, but since it's dual swords rather than like a claymore, it's very easy for me to do what I did here, where he engages and I just Q his engage. Now he lost his dual sword E, which is a lot of damage. At this point, I E him. We get a lot of damage on him, right? I win wall the healer, get a bunch of damage. I tell my DPS to reset because he has an assassin hood, so he could refresh his cooldowns real quick. So once he tells me I've refreshed here, he has his cooldowns. I tell him, okay, I'm gonna engage again. And as I engage here to go on them, right, I had nothing pretty much. I just canceled one of the healer's heals. The healer walked in and screwed himself over by walking into the Badon. But that's just a good example to show that you shouldn't, if you want to play healer comps, it's really bad to play dual swords. They're very easily counterable.
Go ahead.
All right, in this clip right here, I already have baited his Guardian Boots preemptively by running at him with W, and because it's very easy to bait defenses from people because they panic. So I pop my whole combo here. I run at him, I stun him, I E him, and then I realize the healer's not using Holy Blessing, so I run behind the healer and I push him into Badon so he can't heal. So the healer couldn't heal, and then the dude panicked and went into his Hellion Hood. So pretty much, obviously, the healer can't heal him because he's inside of the Hellion Hood, and Beast just killed him inside of it, and then we just run the healer down. That's a very unique thing you can do with Badon, where you push people into Badons. Alright, so pretty much in this clip right here, I go straight for the sword like we always say, right? So I win wall, and then Milkshank plays it well by using Holy Blessing on himself. And then I E the DPS because he's sitting in my fire. I Q towards Milkshank just because I thought the silence was going to run out to cancel. But he's using Generous Heal right here, which isn't good for the fact that, see how the fire is running, dying? Milkshank couldn't do anything because he has to wait like 3 seconds per heal, or however long it is. And what I can do about that is if I cancel one heal, now his DPS doesn't have a heal for like another 3 seconds. So that's why you want to go for flash heal, because you can spam heals rather than being stuck on like one heal that can get very easily canceled by a quarterstaff.
Okay, that's all we got for this video. If you have any more questions, feel free to drop it in the comments below. We'll do our best to answer it. If you want to catch YUNOSANN's stream, I will have a link to his Twitch in the video descriptions below. YUNOSANN is one of the best quarterstaff players in 2v2 Hellgates, so if you want to learn more about his build, his playstyle, it's definitely worth jumping into his stream. And he's been streaming almost every day, not really on a consistent daily schedule, but he's been streaming every day. So hop over to his channel, give him a follow, and click the notification bell so you'll be notified when he comes live. I will try to make more videos like this with different streamers for different weapons, for whatever weapon those streamers are known for. So if there's a streamer you like and you think they're like really good at playing a certain weapon, let me know who you want me to um, collab with next, and I will reach out to those guys and see if they want to do a video with me together.